Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into another chilling Reddit horror story. So turn the lights off, get comfortable, and let's get into it. This one is titled, Trust Your Gut. In 2021, my friend and I were walking to the forest near her house. It was around maybe 10 o'clock at night, and we were just having fun messing around as we walked a walking path we always took when we began to feel like someone was following us. We were really scared. So we got out our phones and started filming behind us as we continued walking. Once we finally got close to where the trees part and it opens up to her neighborhood, I heard something from behind. That didn't sound right. I screamed, "Run," and we booked it out of the forest as fast as possible. We got to her house and we were pretty freaked out. So we just made food and relaxed, and we completely forgot about the video and didn't care much to watch it. For years later now, we were talking about that night and how scary it was when we remembered the video and watched it back, and we didn't see much until we got to the end. When I heard the noise and yelled to run, we saw in the video that behind us there was what looked like a person on all fours. Our blood ran cold knowing that we were likely getting followed by it the whole time. We don't know what it was, but both of us to this day believe it was some sort of skinwalker. My stepfather was haunting my house, so I, 39F, was very close to my stepfather before he passed away. My mother and him had been together since I was like 11 years old. He was an alcoholic, but he was a very caring person, and I hated when he would be drinking, but when he was sober, he was a great man. After years of him quitting drinking for a few months and then starting back again, I guess my mom had just gotten fed up with it, so she left him. Also, I should note that he had a lot of medical issues from the years of drinking. His doctor had already told him that his next drink could be his last. Anyway, so my mom left him. About a week after she had left him, I was at work. I worked at a restaurant at that time, and my husband had came in to bring me lunch that night. While my husband was there with me while I was having my lunch, my stepdad called my husband's cell phone and was wanting to talk to me. I was at work, and my husband said he sounded like he had been drinking, so I told my husband to tell him I am busy, and I would call him back the next day. I didn't want to talk to him while he was drinking. Well, the next day I was at work again, and I get a phone call from my mom telling me that my stepdad had passed away the night before. I was so upset because the last time he called me, I refused to talk to him because he was drunk. I still live with that regret. But about a week later, my mom was cleaning out their house because she was no longer living there, and she had given me their old couch. It was a great couch with recliners on both sides, a pull-down table with cup holders in the middle, and it had a lamp on it too. It was just a great couch. The left side of the couch was my stepdad's side that he always sat on. No one would sit on that side because everyone knew that was his side. Well, we got the couch put up at my house. Another thing I should tell you is he always was watching the news or the Sci-Fi Channel, always. Well, about a week after bringing that couch in my house, the weird things started happening. First thing was the TV would always be set either on the news or the Sci-Fi channels. We keep the TV on for our dogs to have noise when we are asleep or not home. We would leave it on I Love Lucy or Andy Griffith, and when we came back, it would be on the news. Then one day I was standing in front of the side of the couch folding clothes when all of a sudden the recliner came out on its side by itself. It freaked me out so bad. The doors would close by themselves. One day I came home to my stereo on playing the rock music that he always listened to. All of this weird stuff happened on almost a daily basis until we got rid of that couch when we moved. I honestly believe it was my stepdad's spirit. Roman soldier ghost true story. So for Christmas, I asked for a metal detector, and I went to a local woodland/field just to have a first-time experience with it, and I genuinely did not mean to find anything. But I found an old motorbike key, X3 20p coins in different spots. Roman lead weight, it's carved so perfectly, and it's got symbols all over. I've even done some research on Roman lead weights and found out this was before Christ. Now, I forgot the introduction of how I found a lead weight. Let me tell you about myself. For grew up around people that have had bad experiences with the supernatural in terms of ghosts, poltergeists, etc. I did not have permission to share any, so but let's just say for always been a believer in ghosts, etc. Since we got older, for not really thought about anything supernatural until recent. Now I'll tell you the situation. This happened at around 4 in the morning. My sleep patterns messed up, but I was very awake and very stable enough to not see anything in exhaustion. etc. So I was downstairs getting some food, and I was walking out of the kitchen, and out of the corner of my eye, I thought I could see something out of the corner of my eye laying on the couch to my right. It was like someone was laying down with their head leaning against their arm, but I genuinely do not know why I brushed it off in the moment. I was not scared at all, or even thinking anything other than getting upstairs and playing my computer. So I leave the room thinking nothing, and I go to close the door, and the door drags, but again, I did not even pay attention. I was fixated on getting upstairs to my game. So I shut it most of the way, and I got to the top of my stairs, and I felt a really, really cold electronic shiver through my body. I can't explain how my body felt, but something told me to turn around. So I did, and I see half of a figure behind the wall. This thing was roughly 7 foot tall, and I could see its long arm. I could make out the arm, but what stood out was the forearm, as it was pale white, and it was a blatant figure staring at me. I looked at it for roughly a second and a half, but it felt like I was looking at it for ages, and I just quick walked to my room and shut my door fast and messaged everyone for answers, etc. Now, the reason I personally think it's a Roman soldier haunting me is because of the lead weight. I found it's got carvings into it, and it's extremely old, and if you're a believer like myself, you would know spirits / demons / whatever attach themselves to objects, houses, chairs, and more. Ivy just made this Reddit account because I need answers, and I want to see if anyone else has had these encounters. You can contact me on Discord, Avon Khan. Thank you. This is an edit. I forgot to mention me, and someone who lives in the same house has been experiencing weird movements where no one is knocks, bangs, cups moving / clattering. I saw a dead man. All 100% true. My uncle lived in an old school master's house. I was pulling up on the side of the road to stop and see him, and I looked through the kitchen window as I passed. There was a very tall, large man with a big black beard stood in the window. The car stopped just after the window, and when I got out and walked to the door, I could see there was nobody in the window. Assuming they just had a guest I didn't recognize, I knocked on the door. My 16-year-old female cousin answered. Chatting to her, I asked who else was in, and she said no one. I went in and had a good look around just in case, but nobody was there. I later told my mom about this and described the guy in the window. She told me that this was a perfect description on the school master that had died of a hemorrhage in the house. This piqued my interest in the paranormal, and I actually went from believer to on the fence afterwards because it gave me a lot of questions. Was it real or my imagination or a lapse on time? So I became a paranormal investigator. I've now been on 40 or so investigations, most of which are incredibly boring, as 99.9% of everything that happens can be explained. I like to remain very skeptical on investigations and debunk everything I can. Although one incident in a derelict mansion, I heard a man say hello from behind me. Nobody was behind me. The investigator next to me heard it too. And the only other thing that I couldn't explain was on an investigation in an old prison. We were 4 investigators leaving a room, and I was last, and I heard a woman say no, like right near me. My friend in front of me turned and said, "Did you hear a woman say no? Do you believe in ghosts?" The question of whether ghosts exist seems to split people into skeptics and believers. Some firmly dismiss any idea of the supernatural, insisting on logical explanations for every odd noise or shadow, while others had experiences that lead them to believe in something beyond our understanding. Personally, I was never a believer. Growing up in an older house, I often encountered strange occurrences, but always tried to rationalize them as something explainable. That changed once I became a police officer. It didn't take long to realize that not everything has a clear answer. I've attended calls that left me questioning my understanding of reality and kept me up all night. More recently, I started investigating various locations mentioned in the stories. I'm still learning, but I can say without a shadow of a doubt, I know I've shared a few of these stories here, like the death notification call, the cemetery gates incident, and the burglary in progress call. Those are the main 3 that stand out, but for more, check out Policing the Shadows. I'm curious to hear from you. Do you believe in ghosts? Have you ever had an experience that shook your skepticism or reinforced your beliefs? Share your thoughts.